That's the sound of Anastasia Fridman playing the erhu, a traditional Chinese instrument. Anastasia is a violinist from the Netherlands, currently spending a year as an exchange student at the Shanghai Conservatory of Music. She's studying both the violin and the erhu, two instruments from very different worlds. The erhu is a two-stringed vertical fiddle with a history dating back to the Tang Dynasty over 1,000 years ago. It's one of the most iconic instruments in Chinese music, known for its expressive, oftentimes melancholic sound. For Anastasia, her love for the erhu began when she was just a child.
The first time I heard erhu, I was about 12 years old, and I was watching some videos online, and then I was clicking on some recommended videos until I came across a video that had music being played by an erhu back then. And I think for me it was like a love from the first note, because I was really amazed by how this instrument sounded, and I felt like an instant connection to the sound of erhu.
That moment sparked something in the young Anastasia.
I was listening a lot to Chinese music afterwards, actually, sometimes even more than classical music. It's just that the sound of erhu and music being played on erhu really made me feel very comfortable, and especially during times that were very difficult for me. When I listen to erhu music, it really calms me down and really comforts me. So I really liked it a lot. But back then, I was afraid to ask my parents that, oh, can I maybe try to learn a Chinese instrument? Because we were in Netherlands, and back then Chinese instruments were not known at all actually in the Netherlands. So my dream was just that maybe someday I can watch a erhu concert live. That was my dream, to just see erhu in real life and to hear the sound in real life.
Before she truly fell in love with the erhu, Anastasia had already found a voice through the violin.
When I was about 4 years old, I had speech problems and I was not able to express myself well. So then a friend of my mom, she suggested her that maybe I can try to have some violin lessons, and maybe I can express my emotions in music. On the third lesson, I somehow played an arrangement of Carmen on empty strings on the violin. And then the teacher told my mom that she should make sure that I never stop playing the violin. There was a time...
And she didn't. The violin became a companion, a form of expression that stayed with her through the years. Even when her teacher moved away, Anastasia's mother, though not a musician, stepped in, helping her to continue practicing.
Continue to learn music and continue to play violin.
As Anastasia pursued training on the violin, the erhu never left her heart. While studying classical violin in Germany during the COVID-19 pandemic, Anastasia found herself with a lot of free time. With life grinding to a halt, she decided to explore the instrument that had captured her heart years ago. She ordered an erhu online.
And I remember that when I first got the instrument, I was trying to make a sound, and I was wondering, like, how do people play this? Like, I keep turning it, like, it's so hard to change from one string to another. How do you do this? And then I was researching more, and I got to know that apparently the bow goes in between the strings. Like, I didn't know that, because on the violin, like, the bow goes on top, but on erhu, it's like in between the strings. I was so surprised, actually, but I think every discovery I made about how to play erhu, I really like it so much, and I liked to practice erhu so much that I found a teacher and I started taking lessons, and I decided that yes, this is really an instrument. I want to learn how to play it, and I want to learn more about Chinese music. I just really liked it. Yeah.
That curiosity led her to find a teacher, a Beijing native, who began guiding her on her erhu journey. As both the erhu and the violin are bowed string instruments, her background gave her a head start.
So already I'm used to the combination of fingering in my left hand and having like a bow in my right hand. And I'm used to some movement like fast fingers or maybe some vibrato or maybe some bowing technique like staccato. I already know how to do it, so when I try to do it on an erhu, it goes faster for me. However, I think that there's still a really big difference between erhu and violin, especially in terms of bowing technique, because the bow of the erhu goes in between the strings, and I need to change the strings using my fingers, and this movement actually is very difficult for me, so I really need to practice bowing a lot on the erhu to be able to change the strings smoothly. Also, in Chinese music that is being played on the erhu, there are some techniques such as like sliding techniques or some vibrato techniques that are very different from the violin. So I still need to practice those and I still need to learn those.
Anastasia recalls a special moment that sparked her passion further. During a trip to Paris, she reached out to a Chinese instrumentalist who placed a yang qin, a Chinese hammered dulcimer. Anastasia sent her a message asking if there were any concerts she could attend during her visit. Instead, the musician invited her to her home to play music together.
So then I went to Paris and then I went to her house and we played something together, and then some other Chinese musicians came, we played something together. And it was my first time to see other Chinese musical instruments such as yanqing, guzheng or pipa. I never saw those before, but then at that day I met other musicians, we played something together. It was really nice.
That jam session left a deep impression on her and opened the door to connections with erhu masters in China, some of whom would later become her teachers. After graduation, Anastasia returned to the Netherlands and began a master's program at Codarts in Rotterdam. For her second year of postgraduate studies, Anastasia had an idea. What if she went to China to learn the erhu firsthand?
And then I decided to try to contact the top music institutions in China first. And then the Shanghai Conservatory of Music came to my mind because I believe Shanghai is quite international, and actually back then I was not able to speak any Chinese at all, so I was thinking maybe Shanghai would be easier for me to live in. So I decided to try and to send an email to Shanghai Music Conservatory, and I introduced myself and I asked them if they would be willing to accept me as an exchange student. And well, gladly they agreed. So
she then worked to build a bridge between Codarts and the Shanghai Conservatory of Music. Both institutions supported her decision, and that's how Anastasia's musical journey to China officially began. But it wasn't her first time visiting the country.
Actually, the first time when I came to China was back in 2018, 2019. I came together with the orchestra to tour in about 10 different cities in China. Yeah, I stayed in China back then for about 3 weeks, and we visited cities, for example, Beijing, Shanghai, Fuzhou, Chongqing. I actually never imagined I will come back again to China to study music here.
Life as a student in Shanghai has been full of discovery. From attending Chinese opera performances to concerts and lectures, Anastasia has embraced immersive experience. These events have allowed her not only to enjoy live music, but also to connect with some of her favorite erhu performers and learn from them.
The first erhu lesson I received here from my current erhu teacher, Wang Lili. She told me I need to change my bowing hand technique. Actually, I was really happy she told me this, because back in the Netherlands and back when I was receiving lessons in Germany, and even when I met some other teachers, actually, I asked them about my bowing hand, because I always had the feeling that something is not right. Like I have a kind of problem with really properly expressing myself. And I was already suspecting that maybe my bowing hand technique is not right. And then my teacher, Wang Lili, was the first one to say, yes, it's not right, we should fix that. And then she really was working with it a long time, and she has a lot of patience with me, actually. So I'm really thankful also to how much into detail she goes with about my erhu technique and how I should play. So for me, that is really a precious time, actually. Besides that, in general, actually, I met several teachers already here in China, and everyone is so welcoming to me about how that I learn erhu, and they are willing to help me. So I feel also really impressed by that, and also very touched and also thankful at the same time.
What started as a one-semester exchange turned into something much more. Anastasia decided to extend her stay in Shanghai for another term. Her research is focused on how erhu techniques can be applied to the violin.
Erhu pieces have a lot of small techniques such as glissando or certain ways of doing the vibrato and musical expressions, which are different from how I usually play the violin. And my research started with some more simple music to just copy and paste, basically. I just played the music first on the erhu, and then I copy everything I do on the erhu and I do it on the violin.
During her time in China, she had the chance to travel across the country, which opened her eyes to the diversity within Chinese music traditions. In the southern city of Suzhou, she met and studied with renowned composer and erhu master Zhu Changyao. His deep understanding of southern Chinese musical expression and technique gave Anastasia a new appreciation for the regional nuances of the erhu. In Xi'an, a historical city in Shanxi province, northwestern China, she studied under erhu master Jin Wei. There, she was introduced to the northern style of playing, which soon became the central focus of her research.
It's quite expressive, especially with the type of vibrato used in playing this music and the technique. So I really like this kind of music, just something that I can really show my emotion, my passion, or something melancholic. I really like this kind of music.
These diverse influences have not only shaped her erhu playing, but also expanded her imagination as a classical musician. The contrasts between northern and southern styles inspired her to think more creatively about musical interpretation and the emotional language of different traditions. Meanwhile, Anastasia also wants to challenge some common assumptions about the erhu.
I think many people associate erhu with sad music, and they associate violin more with romantic or with bright and happy music. However, I think both erhu and violin can have sad and happy music. There are also a lot of pieces written for the erhu that are very happy and very fast and bright as well.
Life in Shanghai has brought her not just music, but also connection. Anastasia says she's deeply moved by the kindness and generosity of the people around her.
I mostly just received warmth and love from Chinese people, and everyone is very welcoming. And I think what I really learned from Chinese is to be more giving towards people, and to be more open. And I really feel that between Chinese people that they really care of each other, and at least I really have this feeling also from my Chinese friends that they all care about each other and of each other, and they're all the time giving some small gifts like some snack or some drink.
This experience has sparked new dreams. Anastasia now hopes to build bridges between musical cultures, combining Chinese and Western traditions to create something new and meaningful.
when I go back to Netherlands, I'm sure I will come back to China again to learn more about erhu and to learn more about Chinese music. And to use this knowledge to bridge a gap between classical music and between Chinese music. And back in the Netherlands, I really want to use my knowledge about erhu, about Chinese music, to introduce Chinese music to Dutch people and to use the violin and the erhu to connect both musical worlds with each other. I believe Chinese music has a bright future. Nowadays, I already see a growing interest in Chinese music and Chinese instruments in Europe. And I think this interest will only be growing, and I really want to support it and to introduce Chinese music to Europe and to the Dutch people.
With that, we come to the end of this episode. Thank you for listening. If you are interested in hearing more fascinating stories of people connected to China, be sure to find us at radio.cgtn.com or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Just key in footprints. You can find more stories anytime, anywhere. I'm Xingyu. Until next time, bye for now.